and they look like they're there. What I typically like to do with these is just make sure, so I'm gonna try to just get a view of one. Oh yeah, that's fine on the side. The sides sometimes take just a little bit longer to bake, to color. And so you just have to be careful when dealing with these. I truly can't recommend these strapped sandwich loaf pans enough. The alternative are the individual ones like this. So we started here, all of our sandwich loaves, when we started making them, were in this type of format. And then you have to turn each and every one out individually. We've noticed that it's not good to keep these in these forms after the bake. The sides will collapse if you don't get them out. So the speed of being able to turn them all out, oh, they're still actually a little lighter than I want. I'm going to throw them in just for a few more minutes, and I'm going to coast them down to a lower temp because they are too light. So my reading there, which you saw with your own very eyes, just a little misleading. That's what I meant when these things just sometimes take a little bit longer to color on the sides. So I have to be careful now because this temperature is set. That's why. The temperature was simply set a little high. And so what I need to do is cool this temperature down. Amanda's actually covering for Emerald today, and so I noticed that the temperature was not what we typically do. Typically we drop it a little earlier. This oven's really forgiving in that sense though. I'm setting it now down all the way to 350 because I don't want the tops to get too dark while I get a little bit more color on the sides. You can alternatively do something a little bit different with a deck oven. You can actually put them on their sides or on their bottoms directly on the stone and just get that last bit of color. We've done that in the past, but I don't need to do that right now, and so that's not where I'm going to be at with this. I'm going to set another 5 minutes with no additional steam, and I'm going to make sure my vent is open. An open vent means that the natural moisture from the loaves doesn't get trapped. If you trap moisture, it creates steam. If you have steam, it actually slows the coloring process. The loaves won't color as fast that way. So I got to make sure to keep that open vent, and since we're dropping the temperature so drastically, those tops aren't going to burn, but we're going to get the color that we need slowly on the sides. Because I'm not really gaining too much color on the top, I mean, this is already getting to the edge of color that I want on top, but all that really matters is, did we get some color on the sides and bottoms? And it looks like we have. So it looks like that 10 minutes did the trick. Hopefully it's not like the last time where the first one looks great and the rest don't. I guess we'll find out. So we were having a discussion earlier when I thought I was done. So I took over Amanda's bake midway, so, you know. Okay, I can live with this. The very center bottom is just slightly lighter than I'd like. However, I have yet to see somebody complain about light bread. I don't know why. I feel like we've just sort of beat it into society that bread can be light, especially sandwich bread. No one's looking for a crust on this anyway. You know, it's not how many kids like cut the crust on this type of bread. So would I have liked this on every single loaf? Yes. But I've already I have to now decide what's more important, making sure that the top doesn't burn or making sure that the bottom has the perfect amount of color. These trade-offs are part of our reality. There was one adjustment that I would have made is I would have dropped the temperature of that oven much sooner had I been in this bake from the beginning, and that would have allowed the whole loaf to get more even color over a longer period of time. Because the temperature was hotter, and I think Amanda might have just forgotten to switch it, the tops got pretty dark, and then I had to coast it down to get color on the bottoms. You have to make these adjustments. You have to read your scenario. You have to do what's best for the current situation. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you can't get 100%. You can only get 95, and you got to kind of live with it that day. I don't think anybody's going to complain about these. I have one more to unload here. Let's see what's in store for us here. Oh, these look even better. Some pretty decent color on these throughout. Like I said, getting the finish around the loaf. And if you're wondering, yes, these are scorching hot, but you have a different burn tolerance when you've been standing in front of this giant oven for years, getting yourself burnt every 2 seconds. So that's the sandwich bread for today. Only a few. It's early in the week right now. Normally by the weekend, we're baking racks and racks of this. And as the season progresses, because it's still kind of the tail end of summer, and so bread is less popular in pastries right now. And then as the winter progresses, we start to see a shift towards bread. This is something that we've observed over the last 3 years, is that in our colder season, people eat more bread. In our warmer season, people opt for pastries because they don't want to give up their bread altogether. But for whatever reason, it's less popular when it's really hot out.